If you're an old school landlord and you learned how to buy and invest in property 30 years ago, that way don't work no more. That's like old school, you'll get crushed.
Scott Lyons, Property Investor of the Year 2024, went from a council estate in Leicester to building a £2.3 million portfolio in just 4 years. Author of the book, Be the Best Version of You, he is proof that anyone can succeed in property. A lot of people are saying property's not the same as it used to be, it's not such a good way to make money anymore.
There's no secret to why rent's gone up by 25% in the past 5 years. We're losing more millionaires than any other country in the world, taxing more people, which is increasing inflation, but also increasing the people moving away as well.
Samuel gets accused of being a scammer.
Samuel's the real deal, was a window cleaner, always wanted to get into property. Through Samuel's training and help, and inspired me to take on 23 properties over the past 5 years.
That's the difference between success and failure. Successful people fail more. Well, if you were 20 now, what would you do differently?
My first tip to anyone is...
So we first met just outside this room, just out there, about 18 months ago, because you are a mentor on the Samuel Leeds Academy.
Yeah.
And I heard that you've got some properties up north, and I've got some properties up north, so I went out there to have a chat with you. So you said you were a window cleaner.
Yes.
How did you go from being a window cleaner? When did you, to then owning? Most window cleaners wouldn't think they can own lots of properties, but when did you start to? How did that evolve?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, I sort of always wanted to do like business and property and that sort of thing, but then end up getting into jobs, dead end jobs, and sort of the system as it does traps you, and you end up starting working, and then you've got to pay board or whatever, or bills, and next minute you can't get out of it. You're sort of on the hamster wheel and you can't get off. So I always wanted to do it, and always had the notion that you had to save up a deposit, you had to, you have 20, 30, 40 grand saved up, then go and buy a house, and then you get a bit of rent and save up another deposit. Where I read a book from Samuel when I was still window cleaning. I was on a bit of a personal development journey. So I started reading books and listening to people like Jim Rohn, and I bought a book from Samuel called Buy Low, Rent High. And it completely transformed my thinking in terms of property. Like, let's talk about HMOs, where you can, triple, quadruple the amount of profit you're making. Let's talk about lease options, where you can put £1 down and take over a property with the option to buy it later on. So, completely blew my mind with the strategies he was talking about. And then I thought, actually, I don't need this 30, 40, 50 grand. Because again, inevitably, the average person who's working, to save is very difficult. I was thinking, I'll save money, let's say we're earning £2 grand a month, even to save £200 a month, it's going to take you a long time to build up 20 grand or whatever. So it just never happened. I was 18, next minute I was 25, next minute I was 30, and I was like, damn, I ain't saved this money up yet. I best to start doing something.
And all that time, house prices are going up and up, so that 20% deposit is probably increasing by faster than what people are able to save.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it's a difficult situation. So, it's like the way that everyone's been taught that you touched on. It's harder and harder, and it's almost at the point where it just doesn't work. And a lot of young people nowadays, they've just got no hope.
Yeah.
And it's quite sad, really. So, but what we've learned here in this room is that there are other techniques, other strategies. You've touched on some of them, lease options, and there's things like rent to rent. So how did it? So what was the next stage, and what did you want after you read the book? So you found something just by chance picking up a book as you were reading lots of self-help books? Yeah,
just by chance. So I did buy a few property books because I knew property was something I wanted to get into. But then at the back of Buy Low, Rent High, it says, come to a crash course, only £1, you learn a bit more. And I thought, well, I've learned so much from the book. What am I going to learn if I meet the man himself? So I booked on a crash course, went to Birmingham. I was about 30 when I joined the academy. Well, I think I was 30 when I joined the academy. When I was about 25, I went to another crash course, and I thought from that crash course, I knew enough to then go out and start doing my own thing in property. Inevitably, I didn't really learn as much as I thought I did from the other crash course, and I still end up trying to save a deposit.
Was another Samuel's one, or
it wasn't Samuel's one? It was a different educator. But yeah, then when I went to Samuel's one, I was sort of already in the mindset of, right, 5 years ago you went to one of these style crash courses. You didn't pay for education. You're still in the same position. You're still, cleaning windows and that sort of stuff. So I kind of knew in my head I was going to pay for some training. So I ended up paying $2,000 for a 4-day event with online training. And again, yeah, from the online training, so the online training was about rent to rents. And from that online training, I ended up securing my first rent to rent deal in Leicester, where I'm from. And then that started making about £800-900 a month profit. And from then I was like, what he says is true. Although I don't own this property, I'm still making money from it. I still could replicate this, just rinse and repeat it. And then end up joining Samuel's Academy, which again is just another level up.
So you didn't join the academy at the training?
No, I joined before the 4-day training because I secured the first deal from the online training.
Oh, I see.
So so obviously you have the gap from the £1 event to the 4-day event, which is normally
so what year was this?
End of 2019, that was.
So was I guess maybe the delivery of things was affected by COVID?
Yes.
A bit by then? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing. I joined the academy just over 5.5 years ago. 2 years of that was COVID with, struggle and it was a different time. But for me, it kind of helped me on my journey. I know like COVID was one of them where it stopped a lot of people in a way in terms of viewing and a lot of people were scared. Where I was quite naive and new and was still like, I'm still viewing, still went out and actually secured a property for 29.5 grand purchase price. Bought that in Grimsby through people being scared of COVID, because obviously when it first hit, everyone was like, what's this? What's going on? What is property going to be a thing anymore? No one knew what was going on.
Well, it has changed the property market in a way. There's a lot more people doing remote working and stuff. So a lot of people, more wealthy people, they have second homes and stuff, and maybe they go to London once a week or something. And so it has changed the landscape quite a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, places like London, more expensive areas now, I know are dropping in value, and that might be one of the factors for that.
Yeah, I think people are commuting into London not every day and working from home a lot more. So they decide to move their home further away to somewhere nicer in the countryside.
Yeah.
And so the demand in London's probably dropping quite a lot as a result of that. We'll get back to the interview in a moment. First, do you ever feel like the system is designed to keep you broke while the rich get richer? Well, we're here to help you flip the script. Our podcast and newsletter breaks down the 4 phases of wealth. Ditch bad debts, make your money work for you, take smart risks, and systemize for true freedom. If you want tips and exclusive content to build your wealth, click the link in the description to join our newsletter and take your first step to becoming self-unemployed.
Yeah, why not? Like London, £1 million house.
Yeah.
You could go to a nice seaside location up north and get probably a similar property for 200k.
Yeah.
Like, why not? You'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, I saw a house for sale this week. I think it was even on the news. It was like 1.1 million, but it's like a 23-bed mansion. But it's kind of in the middle of Wales.
Yeah.
And I'd love to own a house like that one day and turn it into like a hotel or something. But my parents are selling their house at the moment in Oxford, which is another sort of very expensive area. But it's a 5-bed bungalow. But it's got the same price.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, but it does seem like, you get a lot more for your money. The higher up, the more expensive you go.
Yeah,
like your first 200,000 or whatever, you get a certain amount, but then once you get over 1 million, you get a hell of a lot more.
Yeah,
for another 1 million.
Yeah, it's true.
But then nobody, I guess, because the market's small, because no one actually needs that.
Yeah, it's strange because like you go to different locations all over the country. Like when you are investing and you go into these different areas, so I do like Hartlepool, Grimsby, Scunthorpe, places like that. It is weird how, say I live in Leicester and an average house price probably be 250k, but then you go to Grimsby and it's a lot less, probably at least half. But it's exactly the same. There's like, you know, you have your same like ranges and all the sort of standard shops, your Halfords, all these industrial estates, everything's pretty much the same. It's just replicated city or town to town, city to city. But the price difference is so crazy now. And so you go from like London to Grimsby, you know, you're probably getting 10 times your money in Grimsby than you are in London. But with this remote working, does it matter? You know, if you've not got to commute to London for meetings or for business or whatever, it doesn't really matter. You know, you can live anywhere now.
Yeah. So do you think that the impact of that on the market hasn't fully come through? Because surely that's going to affect demand in the long run, and so then that should sort of equalize prices a bit.
Potentially, yeah. Again,
well, maybe not. Maybe only in areas that are desirable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a strange one, isn't it? Like I say, I don't know. I really don't know why London is £1 million for a house, and Newcastle, which is a big city in England, is, you know, £100,000 for a house, and you know, they've both got a lot going for them. So I don't know the price of it. I don't know the factors that drive it essentially to that magnitude. But surely, yeah, it's got to equalise out at some point, because obviously the money's in London. I understand that, you know, that's where the money is. But if you don't need to be there and you can, you know, do deals from Newcastle that are happening in London over a few clicks of a button or a video call or whatever, then yeah, it's got to sort of equalise itself out over time.
Well, we'll talk a bit more about the future of the housing market, because I think that is an interesting subject, and things might be about to change a lot. So that'll be a fun conversation. But let's get back to you before we do that. So you did a rent to rent.
Yeah.
And then did you scale that and get some more, or?
So I did a rent to rent in Leicester. Then from that, COVID pretty much hit straight after. So me securing that. So start of 2020, COVID hit, and yeah, things like SA you couldn't do because the government had locked it down. Like only key workers could stay in hotels or SAs, so there's pretty much no demand. And what happened was, obviously, everyone knows, everyone's at home, working from home, doing that sort of thing. I was still cleaning windows, so I could still actually do that. And I was just on my phone one day at home, and I joined the academy by this point. So I was like just looking for BRRs. I'd done the BRR training, looking at BRRs, and seen a 50 grand house in Grimsby. And at the time, you probably can still do this. I've not really done it since. So at the time, you could go on Purple Bricks and just put loads of offers in on houses, even though you haven't viewed them. So I just started doing that, putting offers in, and thought, you know, see what happens, sort of thing. And there was a 50 grand house in Grimsby for sale. I put an offer in for 35,500. Put probably another 100 offers in
on different properties.
On different properties, yeah. And then I don't know, watched telly for a bit. Looked at my phone about an hour later, and it said, "Congratulations, your offer's been accepted." And I was like, "I've got no money. Like, what do I do? Like, I've had this offer accepted on a house."
All those offers were like significantly below market value.
Yeah. So I was like, just do it, because I thought, well, you know, worst case, if someone accepts it, I can sell the deal. Best case, I could raise the finance and take it on myself. So yeah, congratulations, your offer's been accepted. I never bought a house before in my life. Didn't have a clue what was going on. So I was like, oh damn, best to go and view it now then. So went and viewed it. Got a JV partner in. Again, at this point, I had no money, so they were like, yeah, I'll put 20k in or whatever. I was thinking, okay, I need to find the other 20k. And towards the stage of buying it, the other JV partner pulled out. But through my business, I could get a loan. So I ended up getting a loan, buying the property with that, and yeah, things worked out. So I was still cleaning windows 3-4 days a week, going up to Grimsby, working on the house 3-4 days a week, project managing it for electricians and plumbers and plasterers and all that. And yeah, at the end of about 5 months later, when it was all finished, the house was then worth 85k. Pulled the money out, got a mortgage, pulled the money out, and then had a pot of cash that I could go again with and do more bits.
So with a valuation was 85.
Yeah.
So you pulled out what, 60?
About 60, just over 60k. Yeah.
Which is twice what it.
Yeah.
A bit less than twice what you paid. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it was an amazing deal. Yeah.
And then is that an SA as well?
It's an SA now. Yeah. It makes,
so you're getting good more money than you would as a single let.
Yeah. This year alone, it's made £2,800 a month on average, and it's been full all year. I think the mortgage on it's £150 a month. It's something. It's crazy. It's over £2,000 a month profit. So this year alone, we're about 20 grand profit just from that house that I bought for 29.5k all them years ago.
So it pays for itself more than 3 times every 2 years. Is my maths right there?
Yeah, it probably, you know.
No, that's not right. It pays for itself more than twice every 3 years.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it makes probably makes as much as a standard salary, you know, just from that one deal. And this is where property does start changing in life, because it's like, right, okay, that's one, but then when you've got 23, not all of them are to that scale and make that much money per deal, but you know, it's sort of mind-blowing how much you can make just from these deals. And the systemize, you know, Samuel teaches us how to systemize it, how to run your business properly. I'm here 4 days a month. I'm also, you know, at crash courses. I've been at crash courses for another 4 days a month. So my business runs when I'm there or when I'm not there. So it's passive, basically passive income. Maybe a couple of hours a month on that.
Well, yeah, it's passive once you get things set up and systemized and you've got your team in place, which is sort of where I'm at the moment. But that's a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, the start is hard, and that's the problem at the start. It's hard to visualize, especially even when you're starting in properties. Like how do I go from having no money to then having 23 properties or a multi-million-pound portfolio? It is hard to see at the start, but I think my best advice would just take the first steps.
Yeah,
take the first steps. Even SA is very hard at the start when you're furnishing a property and you've never done it before. When you've got to agree to a 3 or 5 year lease at £1,000 a month or whatever, and you're like, you know, that's a lot of money.
Well, I was lucky because I own 2 flats.
Okay.
One on top of the other, which had been rented out as, you know, regular tenants.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just been waiting for them to move out. But finally, they've moved out of both of them. They moved out the first one in March and moved out the other one in June. So yeah, I switched them over to SAs. But I can't control the timing of these opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, everything's happened at the same time. So the last few months for me has just been super stressful, especially for my bank account, because I've been having to stage these properties. But I got a bit of help from Bex.
Okay.
She helped out with the staging side of it, and yeah, the one that's up and running now is doing pretty well.
Yeah. How long has it been live for?
Since middle of April.
Okay. Is it making much profit? How's it doing?
Yeah. So well, as a single let, I got 700 a month. My mortgage is about 400.
Yeah.
So you know, not bad. But now I'm getting about 1,200. The last couple of months I've got about 1,200.
1,200 profit.
1,200 in total. So,
okay. After you.
Oh, so then I got to take off the mortgage.
Okay.
And I'm also paying council tax and bills.
Okay.
So let's say I've got 650 of costs, 650, 700 costs. So it's making about 500 a month. But when I ran the numbers on that with Nathan and Dryzen, who they helped me with that, and they're managing it for me now. They said, look, as a rent to rent, this wouldn't stack, but as you own it, and you're only paying 400 a month as a mortgage rather than renting it, it's probably going to be better, a little bit better as an SA than it is as a single let. So it's worth doing, even though it wouldn't be a good rent to rent. So I did it, but it's actually exceeded my expectations. So,
and it's one of them as well, in it, where you're going from a standing start. So again, with SA, the hardest part is you staging it. You've got a month's rent deposit up front. You've got all these costs up front. And then you've also got no bookings. So then you're going from a standing start to then trying to make, you know, X amount per month. But once it's been live for 6 months and you've got bookings in the diary already, it's a lot
It's
easier.
got some reviews. It's
Yeah.
just sort of kind of snowballs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gains
Like you
momentum.
said, right. You said, reviews, bookings already. You start getting a few contacts in the area, like maybe some contractors that like it and want to stay again, and bits like that. That's when it really does start kicking off, and you start making a lot of money from it.
So hopefully that's still in the future.
No, you'll be fine.
But
You've got
I'm
a great
pleased with
location.
how it's going so far.
Yeah.
So keen to get the other one. I'm in the final stages of getting the other one up and running. You know how it's always, the final. It's like the last 5% takes much longer than you think, because there's always something I've forgotten, or the deliveries take longer to arrive. But I've been saying hopefully we're done this week. I said that last week. I'm saying it again this week. Hopefully I won't be saying it next week.
No, that's how it goes, man. It's you just got to be persistent, and of course we all want to get it done. Get the SA station set up in 2 days. But like I say, if you're new to it, it does take a bit of time. To be fair, we did one. It was a HMO. It was only a 4-bed HMO. Did one about a month ago, and we staged that in a day. But we've done loads. We've been doing it years and years, and we've staged loads of properties. So it's again one of them where when you get used to it, you'll have your little list. You'll make sure you get everything on there. Bang, hit it out.
Do you have stuff ordered to another place and then bring it?
No,
yourself?
we get everything ordered on the day. So certain things like we've got a bed shop that we normally use because most of our stuff's in the same area. We've got a bed shop we normally use. He normally delivers on a Friday. So I was like, right, we're staging it on a Friday. We got our like utilities, like our appliances, like a fridge, freezer, washing machine, everything like that by AO. And they do it where you can pick a day, and then if you pay a little bit extra, they'll give you a time slot as well. So for 25 quid or whatever, rather than having, we're coming any day in the next 3 days, or
because I've had a situation where it's like, we'll arrange for stuff to arrive on this day, and then we're just sitting there waiting for it most of the day, and then it arrives, and we've got time it arrives late in the day, and we haven't got time to do it. But anyway,
the AO is really good because you can pick like a morning slot. So therefore, I don't want to be waiting around in the afternoon for washing machines and bits when we've done everything. So it's like, right, get that in. That's one of the main jobs to get done. And when the stuff's been delivered, that's when you're like, the pressure's off then, because like everything's here. I'm not waiting for this odd bit or whatever. It's worth paying a little bit more just to get the peace of mind and to make sure you get it done that day.
So look, let's just zoom out a bit, because a lot of people watching this might be thinking we're speaking a foreign language. Because this podcast is not strictly speaking about property, although property is a big part of it, because that's what I do and what a lot of the people I have on do. It's more supposed to be about building wealth. So and property, a lot of people are saying, property's it's not the same as it used to be. It's not such a good way to make money anymore, and it is a bit scary, the changes that are happening in terms of stamp duty, and it is getting harder. What's your views on that?
Yeah, I mean, my view is that the government are trying to crush standard landlords. There's no doubt about that, and I think they are probably teaming up with bigger corporations like your insurance companies, your sort of BlackRock, stuff like that. To buy property. I don't know if they're doing it sort of in my head, sort of planning forward is sort of they may be doing a deal with like the immigration problem at the moment, rather than put them in hotels. Then a BlackRock buys the houses and the government pays them direct, and everyone's happily ever after with them. But in terms of a standard landlord, if you're just doing single lets, if you're an old school landlord and you learned how to buy and invest in property 30 years ago, that way don't work no more. That's like old school. You'll get crushed. You'll get taxed. You'll get hit with everything left, right, and centre. Yeah,
especially if you buy in your own name, then because of the Section 24, you can't even claim the mortgage costs as a cost, which is ridiculous. Like, what business can't claim their costs? It's so stupid. But but what you just said then about how the government is allegedly trying to crush, because they're never going to say that. That's never going to be their policy. And so some people might think that's a bit conspiracy theory.
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, because it does look like that. It feels like that. And some of the decisions they make, you just can't think of any other reason. So in one sense, property is getting harder, and people are saying that, so don't get into property because it's getting harder. But maybe they want it to get harder, so they can come in and buy stuff cheap.
Yeah.
And then it will get good again.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I don't know the reason behind it exactly, but like I said, there's some people who say that, you know, the government's controlled by big corporations, and obviously they're getting backhanders and whatever.
A sort of deep state type thing.
Yeah. And
I think we have to be careful what we say.
Yeah,
this is all sort of allegedly theories,
allegedly,
our opinion.
Yeah.
We're not saying this is what's happening, but
they get into, you know, inevitably they get into everything. You know, everyone's got to live somewhere, so therefore you've got to pay rent, and you know the government and whoever, the big corporations, they're into, you know, your Tesco's are making record profits, your British gases are making record profits. They're thinking, how else can we make more money? The sitting duck there is property and rental property. They're always going to make money. It's always going to go up in value. It's always going to beat inflation in terms of an investment. So they're just jumping on that.
Yeah. I mean, always in the long term there'll be dips, in the long term.
It's quite interesting because obviously landlords get a bashing from both sides. You get the government who tax the heck out of you, like take all of your money. And then you get the other side where you get the average person who thinks landlords are taking advantage of tenants, and so therefore landlords are bashed everywhere and given a bad name. But
it almost seems though like that's a deliberate thing, like the government blame the small landlords to make the tenants hate them, and then when they put these taxes on them, they see that as a good thing. The people that don't have property, so they get votes. It's almost like a way of buying votes. Because by saying, oh yeah, we're going to increase stamp duty for landlords, that is a way of raising tax revenues that will only affect a minority of people, or it seems like it will only affect a minority of people. So the rest of the people think, oh, that's good, I'm going to vote for that. What they don't realize is that you know, there's going to be a reaction. There's going to be people are going to adapt, and ultimately, any extra cost on landlords has to be paid by tenants in rents.
Of course,
it's just that's where the money comes from. And although some landlords are selling up because I think the spike in interest rates was a big problem, and coupled with the Section 24. Just destroyed a lot of people if they were in the wrong situation.
But then you get the problem of, so obviously tax in a way is a form of inflation. So the more they tax people and tax landlords and whatever they are tax, it boosts inflation. So there's no secret to why rent's gone up by 25% in the past 5 years. It's because landlords are getting taxed more. And then the government will say, oh, I don't know why inflation's happening. Well, because you're increasing tax all the time. If you increase national insurance or VAT or the standard tax on anything, then inflation's going up because that company, that business, that landlord's got to put their prices up to accommodate for the extra tax. So, I mean, Labour as a government are probably the worst government I've ever seen in terms of we're losing more millionaires than any other country in the world. They're taxing more people, which is increasing inflation, but also increasing the people moving away as well. And their policies are just, I don't understand. If you did want to have a well-run country that wants a thriving economy, they're doing the exact opposite. So anything that this government does at the moment, I don't understand, I don't get. Obviously they're on about bringing their national insurance in on rental income as well now. And
I just don't understand how that can work. Because what about these BlackRock, who owns lots of properties and rents them out? Are they going to have to pay national insurance as a company?
Exactly.
I mean, they'll probably be exempt.
Well, this is it. This is the big corporations always find a way to get out the tax. It's like Amazon. You know, they're probably, I don't know exactly what they pay here, but I'm guessing it's near to zero of what the British government get from Amazon sales. The same with, you know, your big companies, your Nikes, your Tesco's, your companies like that will pay little tax. And imagine what it's going to be like with your BlackRock's owning
But the
property.
same thing applies to them. Like, any more tax they've got to pay, they've got to pass on to the customers. Yeah. So everything they're doing, like Amazon didn't make a profit for a long time. Yeah. And that's because they were more interested in gaining market share. That was more valuable to them than money. If everyone's dependent on Amazon and Amazon as a brand grows, you know, so for the first like 20 years of Amazon's existence, it didn't make a profit for most of that time, but it did grow its market share and become a global brand. And they did that by keeping the prices low. I do think that they should try to get more tax revenue from multinationals like that, especially ones that do slightly tricky, what should I say, creative accounting. But with Amazon, because I used to work for Amazon, so I got mixed feelings about it. And in some ways, you know, the way people talk about how it's a really terrible place to work through, I've lived through that, and yeah, it is bad, it is hard. They do sort of control you. It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. It's a job, you know, and it's not badly paid. Yeah. Despite what for what you're doing, you know, there's worse jobs, and everything they do is very customer focused. They want to keep the cost down for the customer, you know, because that's how they make their company more valuable. Yeah. You know, the share price goes up because they've got a wide good customer base, not because of how much they sell, or not just because of how much they sell. So
no, well, I like the stuff that Trump's doing in like America, where like even with Apple making Apple phones, and that is making them come back to America and make it there, just to build the infrastructure in your own country. Yeah, like our country, like America with Trump is like make America great again, America first. Like with England, with Britain, it's like we're put last. Whether if you're a landlord, if you're a worker, you're taxed. You put last. You know, you can't get a doctor's appointment. You can't get your kids into the schools. It's like, right, we're gonna sell the businesses to foreign countries. There's no sort of, if you're a businessman or if you want to do well for yourself, there's no incentive in this country to do that. And that's why floods of people have gone to Dubai, America, places like that, because they're actually creating an infrastructure there where actually companies, obviously Trump in a way makes that company, right, you're going to come back here, we're going to charge you loads of tariffs. But what's wrong with that? He wants his country to do well. Our country is more like, all right, yeah, we'll pay all the taxes, we'll do all this, we'll let our citizens suffer. Whereas we need someone like a strong leader, and Labour, I mean, obviously there's the amount of votes they got is minuscule to get in. Yes, yeah. And
they got less votes than Corbyn got. It's only because the other side of the vote was split because of Reform doing well that they got in.
And there's so many like petitions online to get them out, and because everyone can see we're just heading for a train wreck. Like, how many more millionaires do you want to leave the country before we've literally got none left?
Have you ever heard of a thing called the Laffer curve?
No.
There's an economist called Art Laffer, and he's credited with this concept, or he wrote it down, where, you know, there's like a curve where the more you increase tax, the more revenue you generate, until a certain point. Right. Because people at that certain point, people adapt, or they just can't afford to pay the tax. Yeah. So you put taxes up more, you actually generate less. And this is exactly what happened with what I believe with the increase in national insurance. Yeah. They said, oh, we're not going to put national insurance up on employees, so they put it up on employers, which is the same thing, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
It's all got to come from somewhere, the same place.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, they didn't put tax up on employees. What did he do? But they put it up on employers, so they can't employ as many people.
Yeah.
People can't get promotions because so.
Yeah.
And they actually now, I think, are actually generating less revenue
Yeah.
from that than they were. They've gone past that point of the Laffer curve,
Mhm.
and that's what's happening across. And it's happening in property as well. I think the whole property market is seizing up because of all the extra stamp duty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we were saying about tax a moment ago. Like, we've got the highest taxes, and we've got the highest. Our groceries are now the highest cost. Our gas, electric's the highest anywhere in the world, and there's no secret. The highest taxes, therefore the inflation goes up. Therefore your rent goes up. Therefore your bills go up. Therefore your food goes up. You get to a point where normal average people can't afford to live.
Yeah.
And we're putting, we're sort of getting thousands and thousands of immigrants over here, and we can't even afford to pay our pensioners heating bills. So I don't understand, like, why not Corbyn, Starmer is not putting, British people first. And then obviously when he does meet up with Trump, and just lies to his face, like you see the interviews, like, oh, we don't get people coming over on boats. What planet you on? And he said something like, "Oh, we send them all back," or something, like way far from the truth.
Like,
yeah, exactly. But it's not Trump's problem. In all fairness,
No.
As a leader of America, he's looking after his own country. Again, I don't know what Starmer's goals and objectives are. Maybe to be the worst ever prime minister, but whatever he's doing is killing the country. And unfortunately, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, let's have a look at Dubai then, because once you exceed a certain amount of money, what's the point of paying it all? We're in a country where you want to see things get better. I'm just seeing things get worse. So I'm paying more and more tax to watch things get worse and worse. No one's going to sit and stand for that. So it's one of them where that's why you get so many people leave.
So if you did move to Dubai, would you sell up, or would you just run the business kind of remotely?
Well, run it remotely probably, yeah, because that's what I'm doing anyway. So it doesn't matter if I'm in London, Leicester, Dubai, things still get done. It's just a few phone calls if there's a problem.
But then when you still get some of it you still be taxed because you're earning it here.
Yeah. Well, I could just do what Amazon do and set something else up.
Well, I think what IKEA do, and a lot of companies, is they'll have a company in a tax haven that owns the brand.
Yeah.
And then the shops are a separate company based in the UK or whatever country.
Yeah.
And they have to pay a percentage of their turnover as a license to use the brand.
Yeah.
So that way they just move all the profits out of this country.
Yeah.
So on paper, in this country, they don't actually make any money.
A penny, yeah.
Or well, very little, very little, because they've got to pay the license for the brand. But that's just a way of shifting the profits.
And that's what makes like the tax rise is so like stupid as well, is that it's so easy to do that now. It's so 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you didn't have the internet and people knew this someone in Dubai who pays no tax. But now it's so easy and flexible, and you can do what you want. You've got to be competitive.
It's sort of the negative, the downside of globalization is this sort of exploitation of the different rules in different countries.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Went a bit off topic there, didn't we? It was on property and wealth.
No, but it's interesting. It's interesting because, like I said,
interesting.
this is about building wealth, and these are relevant challenges to everyday people. But do you still think that despite everything that's going on in the UK, well, you've proved it, that it is still possible to build
Still
wealth?
possible. I believe, look, you can get wealthy in the UK still, for sure, 100%. You can still do that. It's the game's rigged. Yeah, the system's rigged. You've got to understand that. The system is there for you to get a job and for you to stay in
By
the
the
job.
system, you mean what we're taught at school, what we're told on the media, what the government tells us.
Yeah.
The whole
go to uni, get a job,
get a student loan, get a job, and then pay into your pension.
It's all rigged, but you've just got to learn the rules of the game, adapt to it, and then play to win.
So how do you adapt to it? What would you do if you were if you could go back to when you were 20,
Yeah.
what would you do? Or if you were 20 now,
Yeah.
what would you do differently?
I'd get trained in property. The first thing I'd do is no matter what it is, I know obviously we're talking about, the uni, the sort of rat race, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, but certain people want to be doctors and dentists and, this and that, and you need to go uni, and fair play, good for you. Like, if that's your lifelong ambition and you achieve it, that's success. Not everyone wants to be a millionaire. Not everyone wants to have all these houses and be, this and that. Some people want to get married, have a good job, have a nice family. And you know what? If that's success and you achieve it, I'm happy for you. Congratulations, well done. But for the people who do actually want to build wealth and build businesses and have lots of property, the first step for anyone is to get educated in whatever you're going to do. If you want to become rich and sell diamonds, you're going to end up buying some fake diamonds if you don't get educated what real diamonds look like. Yeah, and the same with property. If you don't get educated what a good deal is, what a bad deal is, then you're going to buy some bad deals and lose a lot of money.
I mean, even if you do, sometimes things go wrong. You're going to make some mistakes, lose some money.
Yeah,
I think normal people are conditioned to think, oh, if I mustn't make a mistake, and if I make a mistake, I'm a failure, and I stop.
Yeah,
But not to just learn from it, move on, don't make the same mistake again.
exactly. Yeah, mistakes are there for you to learn from. Everyone makes mistakes. The successful people make more mistakes.
Yes, that's the difference between success and failure.
Yeah,
Successful people fail more.
yeah. You just don't give up. It's like doing your driving test. If you failed 4 times and then stop doing it, then yeah, you failed. You're a failure. You can't drive.
Whereas because you quit, not because you failed 4 times.
Exactly. If you did it the 5th time and passed, everyone said, "Oh, congratulations, well done. You passed your test. You're a success." So it's just you stopped.
Yes,
yeah, exactly what you said. Yeah, you stopped. So yeah, success is from failure and keep going after the failure. Obviously, you don't want the goal ain't to fail all the time. If you fail, you learn from it. You pick yourself up and you go again.
Yeah, but it doesn't always go to plan.
Yeah, and there's always risk. Like this is something that people can't get the head around a lot of the time. Is there's always risk.
Yes,
there's always risk. Some people can't hack risk. Yeah, and that's why a job and whatever, and that's great for you because you're happy with that. You're happy with your day-to-day lifestyle. That's fine. But risk, if you do want to be in business, you do want to be in property, you've got to accept this risk. And the reason why you get trained and you get educated is because it goes from being a risk to an educated risk. Now, if I, it's the same with if I go to the casino, the odds are in the house's favor. That's why they make the money. If I put them odds in my favor by making it an educated risk, more times than not, I'm going to make money and I'm going to make a success of it. And the odd time I lose, you know what, I'll take it. I've lost 20K, whatever, but I've just made 100K on that.
Yeah.
And you're going to win more times than you lose, and you're going to make more money than you lose money.
Yeah.
So that would be my first tip to anyone is get educated, surround yourself with successful people who are doing what you want to do as well.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be property. It can be, whatever, stocks, trading, crypto maybe. Although I think, but there are a lot of scammers. There are a lot of, especially in the training world. Yeah. And Samuel gets accused of being a scammer. And I've been aware of Samuel for a long time before I actually went to a crash course.
Yeah.
But I'd also heard the negative stories and things, and I think that did delay me finding out about it. And you yourself said you went to another training thing, and
So Samuel's the real deal. Like Samuel, is probably, it definitely is the biggest and best property training company in the country.
But I went to another training networking event in London. I won't name it. But they regularly claim to be the largest property networking event.
Yeah.
And it's maybe 7,500 people.
Yeah.
And we get 300 a month here at the dinners. And we're now splitting into 3 different venues.
Yeah.
Because this room's not big enough.
Yeah.
So
exactly, and to be fair, you've got to do your research on whoever it is. If you're doing business with someone, if you want to get trained by someone, check them out on Companies House, check the stories out. Obviously, be wary of certain stories. Certain stories can be made up by another trainer making up that this has happened or that's happened or
Yeah.
anything like that. And also try it out. Go to they're not doing £1 crash course anymore, but go to a £97 2-day online event.
Yeah.
£97.
The
It's
way
not a lot
things,
of money.
well, for me, it was Winners on a Wednesday that
Yeah.
made me think, hang on, maybe he's not a scammer. Maybe there's something in this.
Yeah.
Especially when you see episode 300 Winners on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
So there's, so I started watching them, and I was just like, I can go to a crash course for £1. Why don't I just do that?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But do you know how is it going to be? There's recently things have changed. What's the sort of, because that's how it works. There's like a funnel.
Yeah.
The top of the funnel is the free content on YouTube and Instagram, which is great. You can learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
Then the next stage is something cheap.
Yeah.
Right. So what's that now? Do you know?
Yeah, I think the funnel now is more online. So you get an online webinar for free. Obviously, you can use his YouTube, his books, and everything like that is like a minimum sort of funnel entry. And then after that, we have BWP, which is a £97 2-day event where you get mentors, Samuel Russell on there.
Online again.
Online again, yeah. You get a lot of content, so it's well worth the £97. If you don't know anything in property, or if you do, then it's well worth it. You get a lot of information on there. A brief overview of all the strategies that are possible in the UK in property, and then obviously after that is your academy. Which is 12k, which is hand holding, business plan, training. A to Z, everything that you need, the networking, surrounding yourself with the right people. I could go on and on in 20 minutes explaining what you do get, but it's worth every penny. In my opinion.
but a lot of people would never spend 12, wouldn't dream of spending 12 grand on something like that, and that's why I think they think it's a scam.
Yeah.
Because how can something be that expensive?
Yeah.
So what would you say to them?
What I'd say is, the value's there. Like, everyone just looks at the price, and obviously the price is what you pay, the value is what you get. The value, what you get, is way more than 12k. The amount of property millionaires that have came from here. What really, I'm on the other side now, so obviously I did the training, became a success through that, and now I work a bit closer with Samuel. The thing that I see from the other side is the amount of people that you don't see, that are not on the Winners on a Wednesday, that are not shouting from the hilltops about it. I spoke to a lady the other day, literally yesterday, Sunday, and she was like, "Yeah, came to a £1 crash course a few years ago. Me and my son. He's done HMOs, and he's done this, and I've brought 5 properties, and it's all from the crash course, from what I learned there." And she's never been on Winners on a Wednesday. You don't see anything from her. And I said to her, we need to get you on the academy, because if you think you spent £1 on yourself and you've got that much, imagine what you could do if you spent 12,000. So there's so many people out there that you don't see. In regards to the academy, as much as it is property, it is personal development as well, and most people will say that. So it's not just learning about what HMO is and this and that. It's actually like making you become.
The goal is financial freedom.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, it does depend. It's not there's no guarantee, is there? It's not and it does depend on you.
Yeah.
And you taking action, and you're going to make mistakes. But it's all of the support, and it is totally worth it. And it's impossible to kind of, make the most of it, to get everything, because we've got not 24-hour access to mentors, but I can get on the phone to a solicitor or to you or other experienced investors within 24 hours or same day sometimes if I want to. That's amazing. I haven't made the most of that because I haven't had the projects to be doing, But for me, the most valuable thing is being in the room with people that are on the same wavelength. And we've massively increased the number of inner circles since the start of this year. They only started doing them the beginning of last year, and there was like 15 of them. Now there's like over 50 around the country. So the inner circles are like local groups, people. There's bound to be one near you, and people can go to an inner circle as a guest. You're only allowed to go once, but if you're interested in that, click on the link in the description, and yeah, you'll find out how to do that. Yeah, but for me, that's the best thing. It's like I've been so busy the last couple of months, and I've been feeling a bit down. I run one of the inner circles, so I had to go. But I never regret going to an inner circle. Sometimes I may not feel like it,
Yeah.
but you never regret it because you come out energized, you come out feeling supported, you get that. When things are stressful, which it will be, you get distracted, you start thinking about all the negative things, and you lose sight of the vision. Yeah. But when you come to an inner circle, you sit down with other property investors who are on the same journey as you. You get reminded of that, of your vision and the reason you're doing it, and that's probably the most valuable thing for me.
Yeah, they're probably the best ones where you like don't feel like going, you actually go, because then everyone knows with these events the energy goes up.
Yeah.
When you come to a 4-day event, you go back home buzzing, and I'm going to take on the world. And then 2 weeks later, you're hanging around with people from work again, and your energy's dropped. So you do need to be in and around the environment still. That's massive, and the inner circles are a great opportunity for that. Obviously, the Monday night masterminds, which Samuel hosts, they're great. For getting the energy back up as well. But also like the inner circles, it can be sometimes like the one thing that you're missing. You might need a builder,
you never know who
or
you're going to
need
meet.
a contact, or something, and then that person turns up at the inner circle because we have people from all walks of life on the academy. We have builders, we have solicitors, we have, everyone who you could think that
do you know how many people are actually on the academy? Are you allowed to say?
I don't know exactly.
But it's over 1,000.
It's over 1,000, for sure. Yeah, it's probably, obviously there's associates, so it's probably near 1,500 including associates. Might be more. I don't have an honest figure on that.
So and the associates is when you basically stay on beyond the first year.
Yeah.
And that again is a new thing, relatively, like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. So it's like what you were saying then, where you might not necessarily make the most of it, and your first year, you just learning the ropes, you're learning all these strategies. You might have implemented it on 1 deal or 2 deals or whatever, and then the second year is actually where you start motoring and taking on loads more and actually need loads more help. So if you do want to stay,
I think for a lot of people, and this is something Rich and Nina said to me. Is that the second year is where it really happens, and that's been true for me. I spent like the first. I knew I'd already done a bit of property. I had some buy-to-lets, but once I did the training, I realised I needed to sort of have a different strategy, implement a different strategies, and I wanted to implement on the properties I already had, but I had to wait for the tenants to leave, and it's sort of So I spent my first year mostly absorbing the training, doing the networking. I started this podcast, but really it's been the second year when things have really taken off for me. And I think that's quite common.
Yeah. So, it's one of them where don't compare yourself to others. Like a lot of people, you will join at the same time as someone else, and then 3 months later, that other person's got 5 rent-to-rents and the financially free, left the job, doing this and that. And fair play to them, well done, congratulations. But don't let that distract you from your goal, and don't make, because sometimes that could make you take on a bad deal because you're like, actually I've got to keep up with that person, where everyone's on their own path, everyone's timing is different. Like I might be doing BRRs which take longer, you might be doing rent to rents which you can get loads at a time. So try not to compare yourself to other people, and just as long as you taking one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, then you'll get to where you need to get to. And like I say, some people it's the second year, some people it's 2 months in. I'll get asked that question a lot, for people when they join. How long can I quit my job? How long is it, till I'll become financially free? And there's no sort of right or wrong answer. There's no sort of, you could be in 2 weeks' time.
And it really depends more on them than the training. It's like saying, okay, you've written a book. How long does it take to read? Well, it depends how long I take to read it, doesn't it?
That's it.
So, you've written a book. So do you want to tell us a bit about your book?
Yeah. My book is a personal development book. It's on Amazon actually, so it's called Be the Best Version of You. It was something that was more like on the bucket list that I wanted to do. It's not a massive book. It's a fairly quick read. It's about 80-90 pages, but it's quite detailed. I packed as much in as I could within that, And yeah, it's a great read if you want to buy it on Amazon. You know,
I
it's
already
still
have.
there.
And I wanted to read it before interviewing you, but I didn't. Like I said, I've been so busy. I did start it, but I didn't finish it, unfortunately. But I will.
Yeah, I'm working on a second book now, so that will be coming out hopefully before Christmas. But yeah, again, the first book was more of like, right, get one out there, you know, make it inspirational a bit, and try and help people. And then the second one would be more of like a in-depth, more of a bit of an autobiography slash learning sort of book where it teaches you a bit about property.
The first one's not about property. It's about
just personal development.
Personal development, mindset.
Yeah.
What else do you get into?
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, your business or how much money you make can only grow to the extent you've grown. So if you're not developing yourself and becoming better as a person, and your business isn't going to grow. You know, if you're not a great leader, if you're not a great motivator, if you can't do things that a leader needs to do, how can you lead your team to do that or your business to do that? If you can't sell, how is your business going to sell? So you got to grow as a person to increase your income. Effectively, this is where a lot of people go wrong. It's, you know, how do I make 100 grand a year? Well, it's become 100 grand a year person. It's not go and get 100 grand a year job, because you're not going to get it. The person you are now.
So if you want to earn more money, you need to be more valuable.
Yeah.
So you need to develop yourself to be more valuable.
To be that person. And, you know, obviously I make over 30 grand a month now through property. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I didn't know anything, I wasn't the man then to do it. I am now, because I've paid the 12 grand, I've learned, I've hung around successful people, I've done a lot of business and became the person that can make that. So, and built the team around me to do that as well. So yeah, if that's a tip for people at home, if you're looking to make more money and become a better person, then self-development, personal development is a must. You've got to engage in that. You've got to spend some money on yourself. You know, rather than buying a new suit or new shoes, or, you know, spend a bit of money on yourself.
Yeah.
Do that, you know, do the personal training where, I don't know, you learn public speaking, you learn how to sell, you learn how to do marketing. That will pay itself back in tenfold.
You can do all of those on the academy. It's not just about property, which exactly. Yeah, they don't know. We don't really. It's always people think it's all about property, but yeah, there's actually opportunities to do all those things 100%. On the academy. So yeah, great. Okay, well, I better let you get some sleep, because you're working hard mentoring tomorrow. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on the show.
Cheers, Colin.
And if you've enjoyed that and you're interested in what the Academy has to offer, check out the link in the description. And I'll see you next time.
Cheers, Colin, mate. Thank you.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end of this episode of the Self Unemployed podcast. The fact that you're still here tells me that you are serious about building wealth, finding a higher purpose for your life, and beating the system that's designed to keep you down. Now take the next step towards financial freedom by clicking the link in the description to join our newsletter if you haven't already, and take your first steps to becoming self-unemployed.